Here we are for an amazing interview to Vic. Today we will dive into the meaning of love, fears, and why we lack courage in life. With Vic, I can't wait to introduce you to this amazing, talented artist that I met along this gather created and organized, which is an amazing group of people gathering on the top of the mountain once a year. It is magical. And we met with Vic. So today, ciao Vic!
Hello, it's so nice to see
So
you.
nice to see you again. Welcome to this beautiful live on my channel to introduce you to my community. So Vic, who are you?
So my name is Vikash Morgan.
Yeah.
I use Vikash for art because it's a word that means progress. My name is Victor, and for me, success simply represents that we go forward in life. So I use Vikash Morgan for art. I make art. My passion is poetry, writing, music, painting, anything creative. And through
Amazing.
this infinite, yeah.
Amazing. Of course, we cannot share all the things you do because we only have 40 minutes. But Vic, let me tell you, your vibrations and your voice while you were playing at the festival were incredible. And the things you say while you sing is not all improvised, but it comes from your soul and from your heart. So what is your journey of life? Why so much power within you?
So basically, for me, art is a discussion between infinity and simplicity, between chaos and order, between sort of stability and change. And everything is about finding a balance between these two contrasting elements of life. Like, let's say, the yin and the yang, that you can find again in any dimension of your existence.
So beautiful. How did you find this balance, or at least how did you find this connection within you? Because the balance, we always have to work on it, we know.
You don't. I was reading a beautiful text recently, and I think it was by Eckhart Tolle. And when they asked him, how do you find the balance in life? And he just said, I don't.
Amazing. I love what you said. I mean, we try to because we have to feel stable inside, but the balance is actually, I totally agree with you. Thank you for reminding me. Vic, I love what you say. So tell me, what is the struggle that brought you to be so sensitive? Because as we know, okay, let's start from this. We say that
It's a beautiful
fear
question.
is the opposite of love, but sadness and suffering, it is part of love. Why?
We all face sadness, we all face struggle, we all face challenges, right?
Yeah.
And we sometimes we seek to escape all this pain. And our quest in life, for anyone watching this, anyone alive on this earth, is to escape pain, find stability, make a comfortable nest, and have a beautiful life. We're all together in this beautiful quest for presence, for for energy, for energy.
Yes, yes.
And that's
Okay.
what it's about. So okay, so your question was a really good question, and it was, what are the challenges that allowed you to be who you are
Yes.
now?
Please share it with us.
So I think for me there was definitely a big challenge with family for doing art, because it's a scary path that goes into the unknown. My parents told me I know nothing about the art world, so really I can't help you if you go in this path. And and for me, like, the main inspiration for this path comes from freeride skiing and from energy sports, action sports, extreme sports, and thinking that if I go into the path of arts, I will never destroy myself. I can't break my bones. I can't hurt someone else. So I thought, I may fail, I may like be a disaster, I may live in the streets, but I'm always gonna be alive and healthy as long as I do what I love. So
So,
really, art is about risk, and I just want to take the risk to live a beautiful life.
so beautiful what you're saying, Vic. You can be an inspiration for many. Thank you so much for this beautiful meaning of the essence that is within us. So how do we find courage? So doing what we love, it's helping us, of course, to be courageous, because doing something we don't want to do, automatically creates a barrier, a block within us. Why people find themselves doing what they don't want to do? What do you think? Why only artists are able to risk? Most of the artists are able to risk and most of the people don't. Do you think it comes from the passion they have within, or it comes from this talent they want to expose? What is the form of, which shape would you give to this meaning I'm sharing with you?
So I think if you want to take a risk in your life, you want to go sailing, you want to travel the world, you want to tell a girl that you love her, you want to live an adventure in some way, you're going to need some sort of stability. So, you know, risk is very romantic, but the reality of the real world is not so romantic. You know, you need to make your money, you need to survive. So really it's about stability, and what is going to bring stability to an artist is knowledge. And being on a path, actually, writer Carlos Castaneda spoke about men of knowledge. And to me, art is a path that goes towards knowledge, trying to build. If you play violin, if you know how to play violin, it's going to stay with you for life. Then you can be a gypsy, then you can travel, you can lose yourself, go crazy, and still play violin, you know, like a master. And suddenly there's a mix of the two, and I've met people who are like that in their lives. But you need some sort of knowledge. So, for example, I have a friend, he's learning how to get his sailing license. And it's very important to get those little pieces of grounding. So for me, with classical sculpture, I've spent 2 years, I've had the amazing chance to spend 2.5 years of my life in a classical art academy. And this grounding is what allows me to live financially as an artist.
Amazing.
So my main, yeah.
So we need a kind of a stability that help us to be free and to be free-spirited and to be naughty in the sense of being courageous and risking whatever we want to risk. So what would you suggest for people that are struggling, even though they're stable, or even though they have so much stability within and outside, but they're not able to find their passions in life or their talent in life? How do you discover your talent? As you are so talented, maybe you can share your idea of this, Vic.
And that is the core of the knowledge. Yeah. So there is, to me, my knowledge in life is only one thing, and it's doing it wrong. And most of us are afraid. Yeah. We have shame, we have fear, we have so many emotions when we try to express ourselves in a way that goes beyond the normal job, beyond, you know, the normal Instagram and being perfect. Yeah. And we need a space for stupidity. We need a place for instability, for chaos, for confusion, for rage. And here we have our amazing friend Bauer Dennis, who's a DJ. And for me, he was the example. I saw him in a party just dancing, grooving a Hawaiian shirt, being the symbol of art, of just wanting to be free. And as we sort of express this by dancing, by painting, by writing your frustrations, by expressing what you feel inside, little by little, you build, you know, a pyramid of knowledge.
Yes. How do we find our authentic self if we are not wrong, if we don't do wrong? So the idea is to grow up with parents that allow us to be free and to do the mistakes as soon as possible, because that's the real growth. That's why we tend to be perfect till we reach an age where we want to just throw it away and be whatever we want to be. But I believe it's better to follow the other process, to just live and do any mistake we want. So then we can find this amazing authentic self in the moment we are ready for. And it's so important, in fact, to be able to express whatever we want to express as a young age. It's very important. And parents do lots of mistakes, as mine or yours have been doing. So we are not ashamed to say that we are going to be another generation, but also a more knowledge generation for being parents. So, dear Vic, here, because last time we had a catch-up, let's talk about, we explore the unknown through exploring our true self. Let's dive into this topic a bit together. So, the unknown, that is scary for many, why it is so exciting for me and you? If you want to share it first, and then I will tell my opinion. Yes. So the unknown.
We're in
Why
it
everyone says
now. Nobody knows what we're gonna say. We could say crazy stuff. We will say crazy stuff. Now we are in the unknown live.
yes. We are in the unknown live. Exactly. So why it is so exciting? Because that's where we find true connection, as we expose our vulnerability in a moment is defined as seen and is like the unknown, but that's when we become our true self, not when we know exactly what is going on, not where we find comfortable, not where we find ourselves dealing with the same people every day and same situations every day. So the unknown is everything for growth and for the magic of life.
Yes. And you can't escape it, unfortunately. As much as we try to control our lives and our destinies, the unknown remains a constant for every single person in this world. So I think it's important. Everything we're saying, it may seem like it's going in 1,000 directions, and I love it. But at the same time, the center is the same, right?
Yes.
It's how can we take the first little steps to liberate ourselves and to build something concrete that will continue this path of liberation?
Okay, concrete, do we mean rational or irrational? Because what is concrete for you?
That's a good.
Because that's I think in today's world, everything, what is missing is maybe more valuable meanings for things, as people are following this routine that is different from the habit. We need healthy habits, but we don't need a routine that make us mechanical. So let's, I know we talk about everything, but it's always the same meaning. So don't worry, Vic. Let's just explore and dive into our essence talking together. So habits, not routine, and more vulnerable approach to life, as that's how we find our authentic self. And yeah, and so that's when fears goes away, I believe, because if we follow routine, mistaking it for habit, then fears, we won't even notice them, and as soon as we step out, we will be fearful. So I believe healthy habits, connections that make us courageous, so they don't block us, that encourage us for what we are, and same time being less fearful. But at the same time, what is being fearless? Tell us.
So I'm afraid. I'm afraid right now.
What?
Right now, in this moment, I'm afraid of my sculptures because I'm finishing them, and they take so much fear from me that now I can be in this live call with you and have no fear left. I gave all my fear to the sculptures and to like making my life as an artist. So I have no fear left when I do a concert this Friday because it's gone. I've just done enough being afraid of, I have a certain amount of fear every day and I use it. It takes me, I can't escape it. I just feel it. I feel so afraid, but at least I put it in one direction so that then when I go to a party, I have no fear left. I can be crazy and then I can have a space of chaos in my life. It's like you need to control some stuff in your life. You need to control tiny steps, as you say, healthy routines, little habits, whatever you want. Everyone has a different way of controlling.
Yes, but I believe because you're an artist already, you're Vic, maybe we don't truly understand the importance of not following the same routine every week, because that's when we lose the magic of life. So I understand we have to work, of course, stability is important. So people go to the office every day, that is a routine. Of course, here, unfortunately, we live in this world and we need to adapt. But at the same time, we need to find a different routine every week, which is, of course, related to healthy habits, but also dive into the unknown, feel in the darkness, because let's explore our beautiful darkness. So when do you write songs, dear Vic?
We need chaos. I'm going to interrupt you now. We need chaos. If you go to parties, there's so much destruction happening, drugs, you grow up, you see all that destruction, and we need spaces of destruction, spaces of stupidity. And it can be, like, for me, it's poetry. Poetry is a space where wherever I go, I can write. If I want to organize, I can organize. But if I need chaos, I'll just write whatever goes out. And it's not good. It doesn't matter. But it feels good. It feels good to be stupid.
Yes.
So, spaces of chaos.
Yes, more more than stupid, playful, like lightful, like
Yeah.
of course to also to accept that sometimes we can be stupid. It's totally wise, because we are not perfect, and that's why we are beautiful. Perfection is so boring. I will never stop saying it. Yes, bravo, Vic. And so how do you love improvising music?
Yes.
Which is the emotion that makes you improvise your beautiful songs? It comes from the connections around you, from your memories, from what you feel inside of you. What is it?
So, so the beauty of music, which is my favorite art, is that it. Wow, I can just disappear when you speak about it. But I'm not a good musician, but I really have fun with music,
You're amazing.
and I can express rage. I can express loneliness. I can express sex, love, desire in any form, and really just squeeze it out to the maximum and boost myself to freedom. I can scream for like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours alone and just be screaming and screaming and screaming. And like, where else in life, in society, are you allowed to do that? To scream,
Yes.
shake, to like, you know, like a rock and roll concert is so good for me. It's my medicine.
I agree with you. I also cry sometimes, I scream, I do whatever I feel. That's why I'm free. That's why I don't get sick. That's why I'm also healthy, even though I'm a free spirit, and I risk sometimes. I go into danger. And then how I step out of danger, because I am conscious, I'm risking consciously, and I'm used to it. So let's understand that doing mistakes is not truly a mistake, it's a power, because it gives you awareness and wisdom. Yes.
It depends which. If you start smoking crack,
Yeah,
it's probably not a good
I
mistake, right?
agree with
So this is why it's so important to do mistakes, or else you're just gonna take cocaine and keep being perfect, and then you're. So it's important to do mistakes in the right
you. Yes.
places, and which basically, like, how do you control being out of control? There is no solution to this answer, and we're all impatient to get to the substance of this discussion, to get to the substance of life. Let's get something out of this discussion now. You know, I'm impatient, so impatient, adrenaline, and all that energy. And it basically, spaces of impatience are super important. And if you can take them away from cigarettes, nicotine, coffee, cocaine, all the sort of little addictive drugs, you know, then your impatience will actually be a fuel for creativity.
Yes. Also because it is connection that is the true drug, the real drug. We can see when we are with the right connections, we feel so excited, our adrenaline rises, our dopamine too, and we feel so so excited. So truly the drug lies within the connection. So when we connection within our essence, within ourselves, we fall into the trap of drugs. And I'm not gonna lie, I tried in the past drugs. I'm very curious as a person and I love connection. I love exploring darkness and dimensions, dear Vic. But it is true that once you realize it is the connection that is giving you the drug feeling, this beautiful excitement, you find it within yourself and with the people you surround yourself of. People, relationships are the real drug, the one you have with yourself and the one you surround yourself of. So we gotta choose properly the connections that make us feel good emotions, not feeling in a trap. Do you agree? How do you choose people, Vic?
How do I choose people? I get lost. I just get lost, and I hate it, but it's made me and I love it. But Geneva is a tiny city, so I grew up in Geneva. I live in the mountains, and they're both sort of tiny spaces where I can lose myself and meet friends. And the feeling of shame and fear is so strong when I'm walking alone and I'm thinking, oh, people could think that I'm lonely. People could think that I have no friends. And I still feel these fears. They're super strong. But my life is getting lost. So I just get lost, meet people, get lost, meet people. My whole winter is about this. My whole summer is about this. And it feels so good. You know, when suddenly you find people and they're like an anchor, and you have the best day. I had this yesterday, you know, just meeting friends where you can be free to be yourself, and suddenly it just feels like, wow, that's what I was looking for so long, and it was so simple, and it's there.
You know why, dear Vic, as a love coach, I would say, I know where your fear is coming from your deep sensitivity. So there are fears and fears. When you fear, you know, being alone or something that you care so much for, and then you want to put all your efforts in it, and you have this fear, which comes from your sensitivity, we discussed last time together, and it comes from your heart. Then we have the fear coming from your mind, which is just a block of what you think is right and wrong, and so it's blocking you from the exploration of it because you have the fear. So there is fear, and the one coming from your heart is because of your sensitivity, which is beautiful and gives you also, you know, it enhances your talent as you care for details and you care for what you're building, what you're doing, what you're playing. So fears and fears. So you don't have to lose this fear because it's beautiful.
That's very good. And you said something amazing the last time we had a call. You said that when we're in a state where we need to control everything,
yes,
and we can't let go, it's probably because we forgot to love ourselves.
Yes.
So we get trapped in the pursuit. So I could tell you, yeah, one day if I become a rock star, if I become a famous writer, if I publish my book, if I do all the best sculptures, then I'll be happy.
Yes.
But that's an illusion, right?
Yeah.
That just comes from like, okay, when I have this, whatever subconscious fear I have is projecting itself in this world of perfection. And then I need to overcompensate because there's a void inside of me. I'm looking to have everything, and accumulate everything and control and power, stability, so that I can be sure to never feel this fear again. But what I love about music is that I can just express this fear or share it with friends or make music with friends. And then I realize, oh, okay, that's just like it. That's what I needed. That's what I wanted. That's what I was looking for in the back of my mind. And when you find that spot of simplicity, you're there.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly. Because let's also precise that fears, as you had them, as I had them, coming from our heart, make us very powerful and appreciating also any detail we wanna take care of. When we are fearless, like Hitler or many powerful people that have been destroying the world, is negative. So being powerful is one thing, being fearless and then powerful is another thing. So to have these fears and still being powerful is the ideal of true power, because it comes from a place that starts with sensitivity. And so that's the real power, and that's how you can embrace others, being sensitive and having this fear coming from your heart because you care. So when we are fearless, we become, we abuse of the power, and that's wrong. I mean, this is acceptable to say wrong because we hurt other people, and our seek of power is stronger than anything else. So it's not true power, it's abuse of power. So
it's noise.
Yeah.
It's confusion. It's just noisy.
Yeah.
For me, life is a quest for silence, ironically. And I find some people have an inner silence, a feeling of simplicity. Like now, if we think like this is the point, right?
Yeah.
We can meditate, breathe, relax. And my biggest like challenge these past months has been to just take naps and meditate in the middle of my working day. And it feels so good. It feels so good. It's just what I needed. I needed to rest. I needed to slow down. I needed to just take a nap or meditate or not give a fuck, you know? And there is so much anxiety with like, I need to be more productive. I need to do more. But if I tune to my body, to my breath, if I tune to my heart, I feel that if I'm just sculpting, I'm going to be weak. You know, it makes me weak. It makes me tired. But if I slow down and connect to my body and meditate, I feel great. I feel powerful. I have clarity of mind. So really the main challenge for me is having this ability to let go, to take a step back.
Let go of this struggle of having to achieve as much as possible. We live in a society that instead of motivating us is making us compete with success. And overachieving in something make us lose our energy. So it's very important to understand that if we cannot do it all, it's fine. And we have to understand this motivation, which is not motivation, is a competition to reach external validation. So it's very important to understand our boundaries, as our soul is limitless and nothing else. So within us, we can live any reality we want to live, doesn't necessarily implies external validation. So overachieving make us sick. Exactly.
Yeah, overachieving can really make us sick. And the beauty of it is that if you slow down, you can feel it.
Yeah.
And we all have a light at the end of the tunnel, like the road to success, the road to life, to love. It's good to have that light. We do want to bring the best out of each other, bring the best out of ourselves. That is our nature, to you know. So that's healthy. Chasing for a dream is healthy. It's good for you. Chasing for the rock and roll dream is good for you. Chasing for your dream when you go sailing around the world is good for you. It gives you energy, you know?
Yeah.
So you need that. And yeah, like also you have to find your way of letting go. Some people do it by going to rock and roll concerts. Some people by writing everything down and having it in control. And each one has their own medicine. But what matters is that when we're together, we can allow those differences to shine, to manifest, and then we can team up, you know? When you start understanding your ways of letting go, your ways of finding energy in your body and in your brain, in your heart, in your soul, your ways of connecting to nature and energy and focus, well, then that's when you start tuning in to other people who are in contact with their power,
Bravo.
who are awake, you know? But in order to be awake, you need to rest. You need to be able to let go of the parties, let go of the parties, let go of the hard work, and keep always going back to regeneration. And as you let go of trying to just be the king, that's when you really become king, because you have energy in your body.
System. Exactly. And also, let's understand how do you gain energy, and then I will share my method, dear Vic. So
That's
the best way
the most important question in life, right?
is impossible for you.
No,
Maybe for me.
that's a beautiful question. How do you gain energy, and then how do you channel your energy? Because if you have a lot of energy and you don't know what to do with it, you're gonna be destructive. So it's important to think that energy also goes with a direction, and direction is gonna give you energy. When we're lost, when we're confused, suddenly what happens? We can't sleep, our energy goes down. When we find purpose and we believe that what we're doing is useful for the world around us, because it is, because it is actually good, because rock and roll is good for you, art is good for you, helping the world is good for you, boom, you have energy.
Yeah.
You don't care about the parties, you don't care about distractions, you don't care about stuff, because you have something bigger in your life that's going to fuel you forward.
That's what I wanted to tell you. How do I gain energy is adding value, creating value. How? Believing in the beautiful meaning of value. Value, it is something that is good for you and for others, which means that comes from a very deep point, energetical point that you're able to create, where everyone is able to feel safe while risking at the same time. And we can do this within a family, within the circle of friends, within our love story. So creating value. So the understanding and the knowledge, once we are seen, we are understood, seen not only visible, seen for what we are, and then understood, and then there is communication. That's how we gain energy. When we ourselves in an environment where everyone is contrasting us, where everyone is going against our train of thoughts, then that's when we lose energy, because at the end, energy, it is what it is. It's us. So to gain energy, we need to surround ourselves not only by positive, because negative is part of that, but also by people that believe in us as we do for us, and same and vice versa.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That's a beautiful question. And I think it's important to think about context. Energy is not forcing now, but basically it's about creating a context where you begin to bloom, where all the toxic trauma that you have inside, you find a way to put it somewhere. Maybe you garden, you water the plants, you know? But once you find a way to use your toxic, past into something, whatever it is, that is not just smoking crack, you're gonna sort of, as the plant grows, you're gonna want to water it. You're gonna sort of feel motivated about it. And I think a lot of people, they struggle to do that first step, to find, okay, one thing I like from art, and one thing I think I can maybe bring to this discussion today, is that art is sort of bottom up. It doesn't come from finding a job. Okay, so most people who are not artists, they depend on society to find their job and therefore their direction. And what I like about creative expression is that it doesn't depend on anyone else. You build it from inside. So if you're lost because of your job, of your girlfriend, of your family, you still have a space inside to express yourself and begin to build, your identity and your freedom. No matter how toxic the world around you, you start to build something in you that will become a diamond.
So beautiful. I have the chills, Vic. You said, you said so true in such a simple way. Bravissimo. Yes. Yes. I don't know what else I can
So it's a process. Basically, the way I see it is as you start to find, grounding, as you start to find places where you can be free, people with whom you can be free, that give you a solid ground for the plants to grow. Those plants are really useful. For the example, as you start to feel this, well, then you can relax.
Yeah, you can relax.
Relax. Yeah.
We are seeds. As human beings, we are seeds. We need to water a seed with love, but not only, with care, with attention, and then it grows and it blooms. And so it's important, of course, to choose our seeds, because we cannot, of course, water the whole planet. So we think big, but we act small. And people always want to do too much for everyone. I had this process also, this phase in my life, like 5 years ago. I wanted to help everyone, and then I lost the magic because it became commercial. So it's very important to choose your seeds, and even within you, and to choose which potential you want to enhance, and who are you, and so you can help others to find themselves at the same time. Is an energy exchange, as the water does, gives energy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And imagine if you can put your chaos, rage, and frustration in something that brings you back love. Like, how crazy is that? And
yeah, and
Instagram is very good for this. Like, to me, I have friends who hate Instagram, and that's fine. But I really love Instagram because when I didn't have a direction, I put drawings and 3 or 4 people gave me a like or a comment. And 3 or 4 people was enough for me to think, okay, I want to do another drawing.
Yes, as anything, of course, as the media are very powerful, can be destructive or constructive, as we said. So if we use it as a creative asset, that even if it's commercial, is adding value and strength to someone that has true talent, it's very important to be exposed, also to receive energy, to receive comments, to understand that what you're doing is valuable also for others, not only for yourself. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I think I was always told that what I did was not valuable. I had a lot of feedback on, okay, you're doing art, but that's bullshit. You're doing art, you're not going to get a job. And it's nice to hear that it's valuable.
I don't want to know who are these people because I don't like them already. I'm not diplomatic. If I don't like someone, I say it. So tell me, why do you think these people told you that they didn't believe in your heart? It was their fear of not having the courage to build the same, or it was coming from their taste? I don't know. What do you think?
It's fear-based. It's completely fear-based. It's fear of judgment. Because if you step out, you're gonna you're gonna shake the boat. Step out of line, suddenly, the other people are confronted to their own inner fears. Because if someone's dancing on the dance floor, everyone else is gonna be like, oh, okay, I want to dance, but now I have to feel ridiculous. So a question is, how can you shine without casting a shadow?
Yeah.
We spoke about finding your path, finding your truth, doing it wrong, exploring, losing yourself, chaos, confusion, rage. and trying things out, using social media to express your identity, your desires. But then it's important also in the world of social media and dreams to understand that when you shine, you can really cast a shadow.
Yeah.
So I had some really funny stories where, like, for years I played guitar alone and there was no one to tell me anything, and I loved it and I put my heart and soul in it. And then I went to like outside and played for some people, and I felt like I was creating a bad vibration because I made them maybe feel ridiculous that they didn't play guitar, and I felt like I was the ego, you know. I felt like I was pure ego just because I was noisy and playing music, and I was actually creating pain in other people. So it's hard to know how to like express yourself in a way that's true.
Amazing, amazing contrast you are exposing, which is not a cross contrast, it is the truth of life. Well, I believe it is ego. First of all, you're an amazing artist. I love any art you do. Even if you draw a line, for me, it's very powerful, Vic, just to let you know. So, once we recognize that, allora, we all have an ego, okay? Mostly if we make an impact in this world, because our ego, of course, is felt deep as we are able to make an impact, as you with your music, as many other people building things. But the problem is, are you doing just for yourself, or also are you doing to share it for a purpose that includes people following you and your value? So it's important to understand that there is this in line of being egocentric in a way, as fears, there are fears and fears, there is ego and ego. So your ego for sure wasn't what is for many, that is actually blocking love.
Yeah, you know what I do? I do ego day. So, I do ego day, so I just go full ego. Then another day, I did the desire day. Because I'm like, oh, but I want to have this, I want to have that, I don't have all these things. So all my energy goes into just desiring. Just, and I'm just desired out. Like, I have no more desire, no more ego. Or like, I just focus on fear. I'm in my bed, I can't sleep, and I really feel bad. And I try to feel bad. I try to feel afraid. And I feel it. And something comes out of that.
Yeah.
Out of that moment when you feel like shit, when you feel really bad. If you really like accept it and face it, and especially in the moments when you're trying to go to bed and you can't sleep and you feel stuck and you're just trying to find anything, I don't know, you're just lost and confused and you can't sleep and you're stuck there and you don't know what your life is about and what your night is about. In that moment, there's something special, because that is what's going to fuel you to take action in the next days.
I totally agree with you.
So the confusion is part of it, and we can't escape it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why up and downs is the flow of life. Chaos, clarity is the flow of life. Dark and light, moon, the sun. I mean, it is part of the universe. Of course, it's within us too, and we need to accept it. If we think about dark and light, the moon and the sun, without both, we couldn't live. Same as dark and light. We reach depth with conflict, with darkness. That's why I always say, people think I'm very pure, which I am, but I'm pure because I dive into my darkness, not because I'm perfect at all. Like, I'm the opposite of perfection, actually. So,
I can feel the darkness. I can hear heavy metal when you say this, like, nice.
So, okay, so what is, I would speak to you per hours, but what is a sad moment that became your happy moment? Just the last example to bring people into awareness for this amazing journey you're sharing. What is this sad moment that became your happiness? Of course,
I had a rage moment. For me, like, I do have sadness, but what I have is a lot of rage, like fire.
Okay.
So I had like a lot of rage with my dad. Like, he's like, no, you're not gonna make art. I'm like, I'm gonna make art. Then he's like, oh, that's not art. Then I'm like, that's art. So it just feels again, every day, a loop, like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 times every single day. The same discussion, the same obsession, the same loop, the same conflict, the same stuff. And then one day, okay, I have a lot of stories of how I got this energy out, but one day we did our first concert with Lost Again. The room was full. Like, it was a dream. It was unbelievable. Our first concert, a whole room in Lausanne, completely full with like lights, the whole thing. And I started going like rage and just putting all my rage with the adrenaline and the fear of this unique event, you know, all the confusion, I just started shouting in the middle of a song that was supposed to be something else. And then the people started answering back. And they were like, ah! And I did, ah! And then they were like, ah! And it was like a Freddie Mercury moment. And in that moment, I was like, holy shit, those dreams actually exist. Those movies are real. And I want to like make rock and roll to keep sharing this energy with the people. And that's my dream. And it makes no sense. And I don't care if I'm bad or good. I'm going to make it somehow.
Amazing. The game of life. Make your own movie, because people take life too seriously, and me in premise, sometimes I do it. I always remind myself, build your own reality within and out. Don't take life too seriously. That's the problem of how we grow up. As our parents are part of our generation, let's imagine that we are not our parents and we can live as we want to live. And so we can play our game of life being deep, otherwise we lose also the magic, but also it's fun.
And it's nice to take it serious as well. So I just play with you.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about this. I need to learn to not take it so seriously.
Yeah.
I really need to learn that. Because I'm like, my sculpture's so bad, it's not going to work. And I take it so seriously and I get excited out of it. It's probably toxic. It's probably super toxic. But I need to find a way to go beyond that. For me, it's meditation and sleeping. But it's also so much fun to take it extra seriously. And I think it was Elton John who, in the start of his career, said, like, the more seriously you take it, the more fun it becomes. And for me, with art and with the game of, like, becoming something that I'm not, becoming rock and roll when it has nothing to see with my life, is so much fun when you take it really seriously.
Yeah.
And you suffer for it, and you're like, ah.
For you, seriously, let's precise, because I totally get you. I agree with you. Again, I want to share this with you, Vic. So take it too seriously means that you go deep, because some people taking it too seriously, they block themselves. So let's analyze this together, because some people that we know for sure, you know them too, they take life too seriously, which for us has a different meaning. It means going deep, or, you know, suffering, maybe going to the dark and then coming out, while taking too seriously sometimes for people means blocking yourself from what you're actually doing. So there is a difference.
Yeah, and maybe being in the mind.
Yeah.
I think that's a notion that in Europe we don't have so much.
Yeah.
And to me, it came from sacred plant medicine. But the main lesson was that all my friends who are depressed and who have depressions, they're stuck in the mind and they disconnect from the body. And then they take everything so seriously. Like, I have this image of a friend who's basically, he has depression and he was depressed, and I love him. He's super cool. He's super funny. And then he made love to the girl he really liked. And then when he was there making love to the girl, he stopped. And he started to think about life, you know? And then he got depressed again. And I just had the image. It was so funny. And so how do we get outside of the mind, you know? When we're stuck and we feel like we're not moving forward, it's important to walk, disconnect, swim, move, and get our body tired so we can get some proper sleep.
Yes, and let loose of this fake power of our mind, because the true power of our mind comes once you give power to your emotions, and then you give the structure with your mind, not the opposite.
All right, that's good. Wait. Also, emotions. We don't speak about emotions in our world. Like,
yeah.
The emotional body does not exist in European medicine.
Yeah.
And emotions make you tired. Emotions make you, like, weak, make you strong. They take a lot of energy, and we don't control them so much.
No, because we don't need to control them. We need to be aware of them.
And
as they give us.
Express them, yeah. Express the emotions.
Yes, you're super emotional, so you know for sure what I'm talking about. Emotions, they make you alive. Doesn't matter if they're negative or positive. It is being alive. Being alive means you're aware of your emotions, and then you give the structure to your mind to act upon your emotions, which have been giving you a...
Yeah, and emotion requires motion, so it requires movement. I feel that, you know, to feel emotions in your life is not going to happen if you're just static. and just soft. Like it's gonna happen if you move yourself, if you ground yourself, if you put a bit. I don't know. Listen, I'm not gonna give advice to anyone because like
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
gonna
We're
solve
sharing
anyone's
our point of
lives.
view. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I'm getting in the mind already now, but yeah, emotion, 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 emotion.
Emotions. Emotions, emotions that put you in energy, motion. It's truly, it comes from Latin, and I mean, emozione in English, no, but I'm talking about Italian,
Just
Latin, and it comes
Italian brings more emotions. Just saying it in Italian brings the emotions like one level up.
So the emotion is this, oh my God, Vic, I'm so happy to see you. And, and then the mind process, I'm very happy to see you. So I smile and say, Vic, I'm so happy to see you. So, but truly meaning it. So if we only follow our process of the mind, it is based only on external informations and we lose our authentic self. People try to avoid emotions every day. People are scared of their emotions. People are not intuitive because they don't listen to their emotions. The emotions, it's what we are. We cannot be only following our mind. Otherwise, we would be all the same. We would be like ghosts doing what everyone is doing because it's based on what we know from the outside.
Robots.
Yeah.
We become, I don't want to be a racist, but we used to have a term which was Swiss German. It was not the real, like, about being Swiss German, but it was a bit getting lost in the rational mind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just really want to create spaces, and I think that's a question for all of us. How can we create a context where we are free to speak our emotions? You know, that's why we drink wine. That's why we, but to have a space where you're allowed to sort of move, and it also comes with movements and parties where you move, suddenly the emotions come. If you're just smoking weed and like bringing the energy down, all these emotions, okay, like you're going to be protected from them because you don't feel them for a while, you're numb. But it takes knowing fear, knowing sadness, knowing confusion to find the energy that's going to push you to like fight back or love, you know, or go out.
Yes. The only drug, I mean, if you can call it this way, that I use sometimes is weed, because when I'm sad, I want to be even more sad and I want to smoke this joint and push me down. But I'm aware of it. It's a conscious action, dear Vic. So I believe if it's conscious, doesn't destroy you, because you know where you're going through, you know why you're doing it. The why and the how and what it is the most important, because that's when you don't fall into the trap of it. As we know, there is no perfection in life. We all have our weaknesses and we do our things. So I have this moment once a month or once every 2 weeks where I'm sad and I just want to smoke this joint. And of course, it's not a good action, but I believe I don't feel guilty for it. And that's why it doesn't control me. So if you do something, at least don't feel guilty. Or if you do something, do it consciously. Because otherwise we fall into the trap again of perfection, of having to prove ourselves we are perfect, which we are not. And so it's very important to accept our weaknesses too. And that's when they become vulnerability. So accepting weaknesses, don't create blocks if you are aware of them. And as you said, dear Vic, I truly believe with your music, people are able to express their emotions and to feel them. You bring people together, Vic.
I hope. Not yet, but actually, yeah. Let's all bring each other together, guys. Everyone has their own way, and I love what you said, because you need space also where you fall and where you fail. And I think there's a human need to suddenly feel like, oh, I did something wrong, and it can be weed, it can be whatever, but we all need sort of a guilty pleasure, like eating chocolate, something where you feel like, okay, I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I feel like everyone has that. And for me, it's art. Like, instead of doing sculpture, I'm going to do music, and I feel so guilty of like, I should be working, I should be like working for my life.
Working at the value, it is work. It is work at the value, creating vibrations. It's the work we should all do, to be honest. Not only working for others, because
that's revolutionary.
Yeah.
That's a revolution.
That's a revolution. Understand your inner talent and potential, making the best out of it, choosing an ambient where you feel safe, you can express your emotions. Of course, we need money to survive, is true, but it is not the main point, because we can be happy in a lost island with the people we love, creating value and art, more than going to the office every day and being super rich. So what is the value in today's world? Being happy. How are you happy? Feeling your emotions, being with people that make you feel emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, and like being real,
Yeah.
right? That's what it's about. Like, essere vero.
Right.
To just to be weak, to be confused, to be afraid. Eh, Like, if you have that, it's like you give yourself space. But if you
Yeah.
don't have that, you're just like closing down and closing down and closing down and closing down. And you feel people like this, like they're not fun. And you can't be yourself with them. And you know, so if you meet a stranger that's someone free, you're gonna feel it and they're gonna allow you to like be your complete self.
Yes. And it is true that success for many is important. Here we're not underestimating the importance of success. Absolutely not. We're just expressing the value for us of this life, because to feel successful is important. For me, it's internal, for example. I feel successful internally. That's why I'm free. That's why I love myself. Whatever I do, I never feel guilty, to be honest. So it's important to understand the value we have and to make it our own and share it with others. As Vic is doing. Bravo, Vic. And as you say, stability is important. So, dear friends, look for stability, yes, and then do whatever you want to do. Exactly.
That's beautiful. It's cool because you express your energy. You just go for it. You express the emotion, right? Through the words, beyond the mind, beyond the logic of what you're saying. People will remember the emotion, the presence, the calm, having a space.
Yeah.
And like we forget about what people say, but we remember the emotion. That's the imprint.
That's the imprint. Bravo, Vic. It is the imprint.
And every time you tell me bravo, I feel good suddenly. Like, honestly, I'm not used to this. I'm really not used to this.
I don't
so
often, but
now we need to keep saying like good to each other as humans. No matter where we are on the road, we need to tell each other like, hey man, just being alive is tough for anyone on the planet.
Yeah.
Being a human is tough for anyone on the planet. Like, to anyone watching this, congratulations on waking up this morning. It was not easy. Like, you should not take that for granted. The fact you're still alive and not smoking crack in an igloo right now is a massive victory, and you should be proud. And I'm proud of you for being alive, man.
Yes.
And you,
It is
Gattoparda Francesca, for being a Gattoparda. The world needs a Gattoparda more than anything else in the world. Thank you so much.
Yes, and victory is, as Victor said, listen to Victor and listen to his music and watch his art. He creates such a beautiful, old pieces, super sensual, even if ancient piece of art. Bravissimo, Vic. Basta, too many bravo, but it's true. I truly believe it. You are bravissimo. Well, it's been 1 hour already. I can't wait to put this beautiful recording on YouTube for Wellness and Wonder, because people have to listen to what you say and to our discussion. It's so liberating.
Thank you. And I want to say something from a writer I love called David Hawkins.
Yeah.
He's not the guy that was in the wheelchair. It's another guy. He has a book called Power versus Force. I like it. Maybe it's not for you. And to him, success is presence. And it's the same with like Eckhart Tolle, The Power of the Now. Really, success is presence. So if you find it by smoking weed, running, swimming, working hard, whatever it is, whatever brings you that feeling of now, of relaxation and presence, that's what's going to make you be successful in life.
Yes.
And
bravo.
As an artist, that's the only thing I try to do, is to chill and just have a good day. And I can promise you, it is amazing how many blocks my mind puts to my freedom.
Yes. And ideally, as I've been there, is to find this calmness through the love sensation without external helps. But if you cannot do it, find a way. Drink these beautiful essences that make you feel very peaceful, like the jasmine tea or the jasmine essence, which is very powerful. I had it here, but I don't know what it is. So it's very important to find ways to feel this calmness that doesn't bring you away your aliveness. As we said before with Vic, that also reminded us. Yeah.
And guys, if anybody has messages or stuff, write them down. I don't know how this works, but like, there's just as much wisdom in anyone in the world. So we're all part of this big generation, this big discussion. You are the solution. I don't know what you are, but you exist. That's what matters.
Yes, beautiful. Beautiful. If you want, let's see the engagement we receive, and if we have any particular question. If you want, we can go live again, following what is needed from our listeners. Maybe they want us to share another topic, or you can come for the 3 ways live with us. As you know, I collaborate during this podcast with 2 amazing hypnotherapists called Sandy and Glenn. And if you want to share any meaning for you that is important for you with us, you are always welcome. Or we go live again to share 1 hour of deep discussion together. As you wish. I would love to see you again live, dear Vic.
To me, it's the path of simplicity. That's the only thing I can say in my life. And if you guys have a question about, I don't know.
We will receive them, don't worry. And I will share with you all the questions we're gonna get.
Here's the goat. Oh, it's a cabra fuego. It's a little goat. Remember to stay wild.
Stay wild, be naughty, and be grounded. Amazing.
Yeah, please, guys, let's please make a generation where we're not boring. We can be like honest, sexual, wild, and free. So that then when we work, we're relaxed and we work. But like, let's be wild, please.
Let's be wild, please. Otherwise, we will be wild in the wrong ways. And we are wild. I mean, we are divine, wild. Otherwise, we would be in the sky. So let's be grounded and being accepting our nature.
That's awesome. Here's a drawing from my little cousin while we're waiting for people. So remember that just doing a stupid drawing is quite liberating. That's how it all begins.
Yeah. I love your notebook of sketches. So cool. When I travel, I also have it. So beautiful. Of course, I'm not an artist as you are, but I love drawing and doing things.
I think having a notebook, like whatever it is honestly a massive improvement in anyone's lives.
Yeah, I agree.
Find your way. Yeah.
Yeah. And to write poems, to have this intuitive writing that comes from your heart and goes into your mind. If you're not able to find this mind and body connection, write poems, as it is an emotion given from the structure of our mind on a piece of paper.
Yeah, chaos. I have this little drawing. It's like little man of chaos.
Oh, I love it, actually. It is
I want to do a sculpture. Like, it would be funny. This is like stuff from 2 years ago, actually. It's funny to find it.
So beautiful. Vic, I like it. Yeah. So, 1 hour has been going, but Vic, I will see you soon, and now I will text you after the live. I will send you this message. I have to tell you something.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening to us.
Stay wild.
Stay wild, please.
Thank you so much.